wealth. It could have been forex. I did that. It could have been multi-level marketing. I did that. It could have been some crypto hustle. I didn't do that one. Actually, I started that. Lost so much money. The 2 attempts I made at crypto. When it came out, I lost money. And it could have been a flashy app or some new fantastic investment in town. We all did it in our 20s and 30s. And the question is, how did that go? And then for some of you still involved in some get-rich-quick scheme, still involved in some magic money schemes, the question is, how is that going for you? How is that going? For those of you who were promised MLM miracles, the MLMs I joined, I was promised so many miracles of financial freedom. You will retire on this MLM, and then your generations after you will never look for money again. How many people, how many of you did MLM and you were told that you are going to stop working for money and your money will be working for you? But then, years into the MLM, you're still working like a clock. Okay, now, some of us are in our 40s and 50s and 60s, having tried all these wealth shortcuts. And the question is, what happened to the dream? What happened to the dream of buying house in Sugarland? You know, one of the MLMs I had joined was promising us we're going to buy houses, and then the lady making the presentation said, I just bought a house in Sugarland in Texas, Houston, Texas. You know, but how are those dreams going? So tonight, I want to speak life into your broken financial heart, into your broken financial dreams. It's not going to be hype. Of course, you know that I don't hype, but I do bring the truth in such a way that sometimes it feels like, you know, a very big reality slap, but in a good way, because it kind of wakes you up. I'm going to speak with healing, because many of us lost so much money. Many of us got broken by all the wealth shortcuts that we tried earlier in our lives. There's nobody here who is 40 years or who is 50 years who did not at least once get involved in those wealth shortcuts or tempted to get involved. So today I'm going to be talking about the science of getting rich slowly. There is a science to getting rich slowly. There's a science to it. And I'm also going to tell you why most people feel that it's just unbearable. They just can't see themselves getting rich slowly. But I had a very wise mentor. Very wise mentor. He's 85 this year. He turned 85 in March. And he told me several years ago, he said, Ogbo, 25 years is enough time for anyone in any part of the world to become financially free. 25 years. But for many people, you know, when you're coming out of school, college at 22, 23, and then you're looking at 25 years to become wealthy, financially free for the rest of your lives, to stop working for money and have your money working for you. How did it feel? If somebody, how would it have felt if somebody came to you at 20 and said 25 years? You will feel, oh, it's too long. How can I do it in 25 years? Now you're 45. What happened? Trying all those shortcuts. So I'm going to teach you the exact science, because I tried to get rich quick. I did it all. I used the shortcuts, the get rich quick schemes. I tried all of them. And then I realized in my 40s that it was a waste of time. So when people always brought all these FOMO things, oh, forex, crypto, and all those things, you know, yeah, when I was 25, 30, those things moved me. But at this my age, to start promising me crypto wealth and forex wealth, you know, for those of you younger listening, no problems. But you are going to discover that there is a science to getting rich slowly. And when you do get rich slowly, it is permanent. It comes with peace in your old age. It comes with the freedom to pursue the purpose for which you are here. Absolutely. All right, thank you all. Yeah, Nicholas, you're welcome. Thank you, Nicholas. It's kind of you calling me a legend. All right. Please, as you join, let me know where you are joining us from. Let's know what country. I'm looking out for a country that I probably haven't seen. And as you are joining also, please do like this so that the algorithm can show it to people who are here. Interesting. Cameroon. Cameroon is always very well represented. Of course, Nigeria, Abeokuta, Arinela is Abeokuta, and Nicholas is from Equatorial Guinea. I think I've seen Equatorial Guinea before. That's wonderful. That's amazing. Business Film International says Kuvukiland. Where is Kuvukiland? Please let's know. Oh, Mervyn is from Barbados. I think I've seen Barbados for the first time. Fantastic. I wish I could ring a bell, for you. Fantastic. Augustine Damigoru, you're always here. That's amazing. Thank you. From Asaba in Nigeria. Awesome. Marshall is Abia State in Nigeria. And Brittany is joining us from Jamaica. Yes, Jamaica is my regular. Okay. Now, we are talking about the science of getting rich slowly. And I will also tell you why most people don't do that. But I need you to understand that if fast money feels like freedom, you are still financially wounded. If anytime you see fast money, you go online, or somebody sends you a flyer, or you go to somebody's WhatsApp status, and then you are seeing fast money, and then that fast money is still feeling like freedom to you, you're financially wounded. Fast money is not freedom, but it does feel like it. And for those of you who are joining from Nigeria and some parts of Africa, you're already aware, of so many things people are doing for fast money. But listen to me as an older man. I have been alive for 6 decades, almost 6 decades. And then each decade, there were always people who came with fast money, flashy. 1970s, I remember the people, flashy wealth and opulence. And usually, when they do it in a particular decade, by the next decade, you never hear about them. In 1980s, the advanced fee fraud started growing, what Nigerians call 419, where people defrauded foreigners of millions of dollars. There was a particular name. The guy was living large in Victoria Garden City. I still remember, huge house. These were big names in those days. They carried millions of dollars along the street. They'll be spraying it and all that. Very wealthy people. Well, they appear to be wealthy in the 1980s. Some of you might know some of the names. If I ask you to mention the names, you can actually put their names in the whatever. But now, when you go, for instance, to my village, and I look at all those money bags in the 70s, nobody remembers them today. In fact, by 1980s, they are gone. Then the ones, who made very quick money through crime, through drugs, through all this whatever, they are no longer there. And for many of you, some of you watching from the United States, you know the story of the hoods. I watch these young people, who do all these drug runs and things like that. And they belong to gangs and all kinds of things. I was listening to one of them one day. He said that guy was not up to 30. He said something about the like that if you're living that lifestyle, quick money, drugs and things like that, he said you either ended up short or in prison. There were just 2 destinies for people who want to make it very quick. And there are also people who still do drugs today. They do drug runs, they swallow drugs in their stomach. Some have all kinds of ingenious ways that they try to ferry drugs across borders. And then some people do it, they come back with incredible wealth. They build houses within 2 weeks. Their house is up. They buy land, property. But in my lifetime, I have seen those things never last. If it's the same in your country, just mention your country and say the same. So you see people who make this fast money, but it never lasts. So the people who made the fast money in the 1980s and oppressed everybody with their wealth, by 1990s, nobody hears about them. I still remember this guy. He was a top 419 guy in town. He was a socialite. Everybody wanted him around, just throwing incredible wealth around. He was making money through advanced fee fraud. Oh, I'm the minister for Nigeria's oil and gas energy. I have $100 million to move and all that, whatever. The guy did it. Became so, this is the type you call filthy rich, actually. But today the guy is destitute. That house, he doesn't live there anymore. Lizards, cockroaches, rats, and everything living there. Now, the people in the 90s also came. Some names came up in the 90s doing this quick money thing. By 2000s, nobody hears about them. And today, there are young people. In Nigeria, they call them Yahoo. And they call them Yahoo Plus. And these guys defraud money. They also use diabolic means to make money. And some of them are into kidnapping people. And some of them actually kidnap people to harvest organs and sell and make a lot of money. There's something called cursed money. And cursed money always has curses. So there's a science to getting rich slowly. Because getting rich fast, like they say in my place, will always run your stomach. It doesn't last. It doesn't last. The people either die young, or by the time they die, they can't move that money to the next generation. Or they go mad. It's happening. Many of them are going mentally crazy because they go into diabolism and all kinds of demonism in order to make money. Why now? Why? Because you don't want to get rich slowly. You don't want to do it the way we older people are doing it. We older generation are doing it. You want to get rich fast. And then they say, like I'm going to teach later, that it is smart to get rich fast. Okay, let me read your comments to see if it's the same thing in your different countries. Yeah, Rachel said, yes, watched a couple of documentaries where elderly women scammed 700K, but these men did money rituals in their victims. Crazy. It's horrible. It's horrible. Yeah, Rachel says it's the same thing in Dominican Republic where she's watching us from. It's terrible. It's terrible. All right. I have someone from New York, somebody from Zambia, people from UK. Absolutely. And then Rachel also says some Latino men do destiny swapping. My ex tried to scam me, keep me around, to benefit from me. Yeah, they do that. Yeah, they do that. JD1 is asking, what are we talking about? So tonight's topic is the science of getting rich slowly and why most people can't. And then you will see the benefit of getting rich slowly. Okay, so I said if fast money feels like freedom, you are still financially wounded. Real wealth is patient. And healing is part of your investment plan. Real wealth is patient. Healing is part of your investment plan. Because many of us need to heal. We've been scammed. We got involved. These people who try to make money fast, they sell something to you, and once you pay them, they block you. But that's not money. That's not how to make money. Okay, so the real reason why people struggle to get rich, there's a particular reason connected to how we are wired. Why people just can't. Most people just can't, like literally can't get rich slowly. Have you seen people who jump from one shiny object to another? There is one shiny object in town today, one massive opportunity. Oh, coming right now. If you bring $1,000, we're going to be paying you $10,000 every month. Come right now. Come right now. There's a reason that there are people who always seem to be susceptible. In fact, in Nigeria, for instance, many of you watching from Nigeria, as they are losing money in one particular scheme, another one is coming out, and you find that there are people who will never join the financial fitness challenge for my mentorship. They say, oh no, it's too expensive. But they have the money to join MMM. What are the names of all those things that, as MMM is dying, another one comes up. I think there's a recent one they call, is it CBEX or something? And people still invest. If you look at the people who invested in the scam, very likely the same people who invested in MMM, who invested in MBA forex, who invested in all those scams because you want to. So a lot of people spend their lifetime trying to get rich quick. And then before they know it, they have 30 years behind them. And they look back and there's nothing to show for 30 years of chasing one system or the other. That's why I say that you do not need a miracle. You need a system. You do not need a money miracle. You need a system. And then you need the patience to repeat that system. I'm telling you, if many of us in our 40s and 50s and 60s actually did this, we wouldn't be in the kind of financial pain and regret that most of us are in today. You don't need miracle. You don't need fast money. You need a system. And what I've discovered coaching thousands of people from around the world is the same thing everywhere, whether in the United States or in the UK, Australia, Hong Kong, Zambia, Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon. It's the same thing in the Caribbean. What I have discovered is that majority of us do not do well financially in the first part of our lives. We don't do well in the first part of our lives going up to age 40. And so we're now crossing that 40 limit into 40s and 50s. So seriously financially wounded and confused, because at 50, many people around the world look back and it's like, what in the world did I do with all the money that came into my hand? Some people in 55, 56 have worked for 30 years. And then they look back and say, what is there to show for having traded 30 years of your few years on this planet, trading those 30 years for money? And then you look back. So this is why I've been focusing a lot on people my generation, people in the later half of their lives, who had very, very poor relationship with money in the first half of their lives. Because the tragedy is, if you carry those same mistakes you made in your finances in the first half of your life, and you carry them into the second half of your life, it's not going to change. Remember, we are told that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and then expecting to see a different result. So for 30 years of your life, now you are 50 something, you are 54. For 30 years, you've been working 9 to 5, trading your time for money. And it hasn't worked for you. And now you are 55. And you think that the next 30 years will be different, still trading your time for money. It didn't work for you. The system wasn't set to make you rich. Right from the time that they educated you through this very, very dangerous school system that actually destroys our children. So you come at, how can somebody first 20 years of your life or first 22 years of your life, because many people start from creche. By 3 months, because your mother works, she puts you in a creche. So you start school at 3 months, when you should be sucking mama's breasts and being hugged and feeling warm. You start school at 3 months. And then by the time you're 12 months, you're 1 year, they move you from something and then to nursery. I think the United States, you guys call it kindergarten or something. 3 years that a child should still be playing in the house. They are there teaching us A for apple, B for ball, C for nonsense. And then you come out, people come out of college at 22 and they can't make their lives function for 30 years because it is, you went to school. So school is supposed to actually help you. So that as you are graduating at 22 years, within 10 years, which is 32 years, you should be financially stable because that's the time you need to form a family. But at 30, in the early 30s, many people are just starting their families. And the guy has to work, his wife has to work because there's just no way with one salary to, even with two salaries, it's difficult to start a family. Then you start a family, dad is working, mom is working, child is put in the hands of strangers to raise them up. That's not the way things worked in the 40s, in the 30s, in the 60s and all that, when we were born. But right now, it's the way it is. And so, someone goes through the school system and even does postgraduate program, and at 50, you're still hustling to eat every day. Is it normal? Somebody ask me. Somebody answer me. Is this normal? Who designed the system? So until you wake up and actually challenge the system, it's terrible. But can you imagine if you actually started practicing, or even if I started practicing what I'm teaching you tonight, if I started practicing when I graduated at 22. I graduated from the university at 22 years. And then, if not that I woke up, that is how today I will still be sweating, trading my time for money, and never touching my purpose. Never being able to raise my children well, the way my wife and I have raised them. And they're standing today. Okay, so let me read what you have in your charts. Yeah, Stella says it's not normal. No, it's not normal. How can somebody go to school? You did everything they told you in school. You passed. You got good degree. They celebrated you. You did your graduation or commencement in the United States. Everybody, you threw your heart. We were all rejoicing. We ate rice and chicken. And this was 30 years ago. And 30 years after, you still can't find your way. You're still struggling with paying mortgage at 54. You're still struggling with paying car notes, paying this, paying that. And then in between, because of the stress of money, you're probably fighting divorce, which is horrible. So you have a lot of complications in your life. There's no peace. There's no emotional stability. And most of those things come from the fact that we are not financially stable and we're not financially independent. So the system keeps throwing us around. We'll stop that tonight, okay? That's going to end tonight. Yeah, it's not normal. D-Max Media says, read proverb, there you get wisdom, understanding, and leave poverty. Seek the kingdom of God first, and all that, and all that. Okay, great. Yeah, I like proverbs. Yakihi says, no, with the system today, all you work for slips through your hand like sand. Absolutely. Business IQ says the system is designed to make us living machines. Exactly. Okay. And then Jesimiel says the tragedy of our manipulated school system. It really is. That's why parents have to wake up and do the sort of things we did. For instance, when our children finish secondary school, they typically will go through a gap year, 1 year. And I said to my son, because by the time he was entering college, his mates were already in their 3rd year in college. I told my son, it's not a marathon, it's not a race. Your life is different, theirs is different. So they are there, 3 years ahead of you. So as he was entering 1st year in college, his classmates were entering like final year in college. I said, it's not because I want them to learn life, because the school system can be very deceiving. They need to learn life. So within the gap year, they have to learn how to manage money, how to comport themselves as men. I taught them what it means to be men, because the way you raise boys. It's not the way you raise girls. But today, so many men are being feminized. Raising boys as if you're raising girls. And that's the challenge. Some of you in my audience who are single mothers. It's challenge. You may be able to raise a daughter alone, but by all means, let there be a father figure in the life of your son. I don't mean to sound controversial, but I tell you, it takes a man to raise a man. And we're having serious male crisis all over the world today because men are not being raised. Boys are not being raised like we were raised, like our fathers in those days raised us. And then you have boys now, because of the way they are raised, they come up and then have identity issues. And then some say that they are girls trapped in. There's something wrong with the world. There's something wrong, about that. Okay. So what's the meaning of time? Of course, I don't understand. I'm not sure what your question means, Rex. All right, so let's go on. What's the real reason people can't get rich slowly? To be honest with you, you are not struggling with money because you are stupid. You are not stupid. To be honest, because if you were stupid, you wouldn't actually earn that in the first instance. Imagine some of you work in very well-paid organizations, well-paying jobs. But then you still struggle with money. How do I know? Because that was my story. You struggle with money because your brain is built for survival. This is key, and somebody can actually type it there. If you understand this, that's what helped me to kill the instant gratification. Because instant gratification is the number one enemy of wealth. Type it in the comment section. Instant gratification is the number one enemy of wealth. Why? Imagine if you're a farmer. You plow your entire field and then you plant wheat. And then you go all over again and uproot all the things that you planted. That's what instant gratification does. You plant your seed today, you plant it like right now, and then within 1 hour, you remove it. So you will never have a tree, and you will never have anything germinating. My friends from around the world, making money is not rocket science. That's even why some people who rocket scientists don't have money, because you don't need it. You just need these basics. Whatever you earn, don't spend all of it. Keep something aside to invest in your future. It's not complicated. How are you in the world are you going to become wealthy? Whether you're in Barbados, or you're in Nigeria, or you're in Jamaica, or you're in New York, or wherever, UK, how in the world will you become wealthy if you spend everything you earn? How is it going to happen? There was a prophet. A prophet who he lived maybe about 3,000 years ago. And then this prophet wrote something that changed my life. So something written like 3,000 years ago, like maybe 2,700, 900 years ago. This prophet made me understand that every income that comes into your pocket has two parts. Everything you earn, whether it is salary or whether it is a gift or whatever you did, you did a service, you serviced somebody, or you executed a contract and money came. Anytime something drops in your wallet or in your bank account, there are two. It's not one entity. There are two types. I don't know what to call them. Like two monies in one. The first one is bread. That's the one you eat. The second part of that income is seed. That is the one you plan for your future. That's what seed is for. And the secret for financial freedom, the secret to retiring rich, is not in the bread, it's in the seed. You see, so that prophet Isaiah said that God gives bread to the eater and seed to the sower. But what do we do? Many of us in different parts of the world, what do? We consume everything like it's bread. We eat the bread part and then we eat the seed part. And many of us even justify that to say, oh, my take-home pay can't take me home. I earn very little money. And you justify that, but that's a lie. That's a lie. If that money, no matter how small it is not all bread. It is spiritual. It's not all bread. There must be the seed part of it. So what do you think about a farmer that eats his seed? What's he going to do when it is next planting season? And then if he doesn't plant, what is he going to do when it is harvest season? That explains poverty. That explains the financial struggle that all of us are having in different parts of the world. So your salary is not all bread. It's not all bread. Don't tell me that, oh, I'm in debt. I mean, whatever. Even when you are in debt. I've been in debt. Terrible one. You know, when you have debt, but you still have something coming in every fortnight or every month that you can use to service those debts, that's different. But I had debt and I didn't have income. The bank came, repossessed my brand new SUV. I had Nissan Armada. It was brand new at the time. You know, I was a big shell boy. But I didn't know how to manage my finances. I didn't delay gratification. So the bank repossessed it. I had quick notices. There are all kinds of things I had. So I didn't have income. But do you know, I had the spiritual sense. Type spiritual sense here, you see? Because there's a lot of spirituality about money. Many of us just look at money like a piece of paper. There's a lot of spirituality. There's a lot of energy science behind that thing called money. And because you don't understand it, you think that $1 is small. You think that $1 is small. And you just ignore $1. But $1, the energy behind $1 is as forceful as the energy behind $1 million. Oh my goodness. I just said something that I have to write down myself. Please, somebody type it down. The energy behind $1 is the same energy behind $1 million. So, if you disrespect $1, you will disrespect $1 million. And that's why Jesus said that anybody who is faithful in little will also be faithful in much. This is why if you cannot manage $1, you can't manage 1,000. Some people say, I'll be able to give more. Or I'll be able to pay tithe when I earn more. Breaking news. If you can't pay tithe on $10, you won't pay tithe in 10 million. That's why I'm telling you, the energy behind $1 is exactly the same energy behind $10 million. Because in the spiritual, there's no difference between the spiritual world does not know the difference between $1 or $1 million. I'm telling you, I don't know how to break this down for you. That's why a man could use 2 fishes and 5 loaves to feed 5,000. It's not fable. And he's not the only one who can do it. We can do it. Because we live in the same spiritual atmosphere. So people kill themselves and kill other people because they think that money is this physical thing. Money is highly spiritual. This is why when you earn money the wrong way and you make fast money, you know, through all this crime, through all these things that these young Nigerians and people, even Chinese, all kinds of people are doing this. The Indians, it's not just Nigerians. They do not understand that that thing is spiritual. It always gets you. If you cheat somebody, it always comes back at you. And then I pity the Nigerian politicians who just go there to share the money that they should use to develop the lives of the people, and they share it. Go and check their lives. They call themselves honorable. Look at their lives, very empty. Not only that, when you look at them, look at how many of them end up. Today they are flying to France because they are sick. Mysterious sicknesses. As they're coming from France, they are going to Germany for treatment. Then they come back from Germany, they go to Israel. What do you think is going on? It's cursed energy because of money that they have stolen, because of corruption. Corruption doesn't pay. Don't envy anybody who is corrupt. He does not pay. It does not pay. And I can guarantee you, those people and those politicians, who are busy selling their country, they collect a loan of $20 billion from World Bank, from IMF. They collect that loan. They borrow that on behalf of your country. But all that money goes into their pockets. The roads are not done, the infrastructures are not done, and all that. And then they sell 3 million barrels of oil per day. You know how much dollars that is? Do you know how the lives of the people in Nigeria, for instance, or in Ghana will be so different, or in South Africa, if the wealth that comes into the country actually goes to develop the people, but it enters their pockets? Don't envy them. They may come out in their government functions, looking here, they have all this sense of power and all that, and they are there, and then they are smiling and they are spraying money. When they are alone, you do not want to know what they go through. Many of them can't sleep, except they use sleeping pills. Because by spiritual law, there's a spiritual law that there is no peace for the wicked. It's a spiritual law. Don't mind all those people, who scam people. They make a lot of money. They come out riding fantastic cars, drinking, and then people are hailing them. Most of them can't sleep until they either drink a lot or they take pills. Listen, if you understand what I'm talking about, I think I've gone spiritual, today. If you understand what I'm talking about, just type value in the comment section. Don't envy them. But you see, because we're talking about the science of getting rich slowly. That's why I'm talking about it. Because these people, like in Nigeria, the biggest paying profession is politics. Just politics. But I will never trade my life with the life of a Nigerian politician who has billions of dollars that he stole, put some in Swiss banks, put some in different places, hiding all this. I will never trade the peace I have with their own. I sleep and I wake up and I mix with people. I don't look over my shoulder whether somebody is after me, because I've not taken anybody's goods. They fall sick like crazy, mysterious illnesses. Everybody say, I don't want that. Type, I don't want that. Because if you're following me, you can't be thinking about wealth in that way. Just type, I don't want that. Declare it, let it come out of your mouth. As you're typing it, say, that's not what you want. That's not the kind of wealth you want. Because the spiritual law is that there is no peace for the wicked. There's no peace for oppressor. He might come out and then laugh, crack jokes, and then they drink, dress well, and you envy them. They can't sleep. They don't sleep at home. Most of them also don't have good marriages. Your governors, your senate, they don't have good marriages. It's war at home. Evil. There's no peace with an evil person. They might come out and laugh, but they can't sleep. Go into their rooms and see. So you don't want that. I don't want that for myself. Okay. So now we don't struggle with money because we are stupid. We struggle because our brain is built for survival, not for wealth. What do I mean? You see, in poverty, your brain gets addicted to relief. That's what perpetuates poverty. If you've been in poor neighborhoods, you can see there's addiction to relief. They are the ones that have the latest televisions. When there's a riot, and then the poor people break into stores and supermarkets, what's the first thing you see them carrying? Type in the comment section. Let me not even say it. I mean, I see it in America, I see it in Nigeria, I see it all over the world. When there's a riot, there's whatever, some what is it, confusion somewhere, and people are breaking into stores and things like that. What do you normally see poor people? What's the first thing they go to the store to steal, to carry? There you go, television. Television. The poor people have TV. I don't own a TV. There's no TV anywhere in my house. And then sometimes when I travel, I can be in a hotel for 3 weeks, for a month, and I don't touch the TV remote. But the poor people's brain is wired for relief. So some poor people, and poor people, I'm not actually talking about, when I say poor people, there are people who have millions of dollars, but they are poor because it's a mindset thing. It's a mindset thing. So the poor person's brain is wired for relief. So he starts watching an episode of Netflix at 9 p.m., finishes at 12. And then at 12 midnight, where you are not supposed to be eating because your stomach should be fasting. Your stomach should be empty for at least 12 hours if you don't want to fall sick. I try to keep mine empty for 16, 18 hours and then eat within a window. But because their brain is wired for relief, they finish watching one episode of Netflix, and then 12 midnight, that your stomach should be empty, they go to the fridge, find something to eat. Then they come back by 12:30 a.m. They start another episode of Netflix for 2 hours or something. But they are going to work the next day. So poverty is much more of a habit problem than money problem. Now, so instead of long-term investing, the poor person's mind, or the people struggle with money, they chase short-term dopamine. They chase short-term dopamine. See, I'm giving you the science of wealth. This is what people don't teach you. This is what textbooks will not tell you. It doesn't sound comfortable. It doesn't sound comfortable. See, like what I'm telling you, it doesn't sound comfortable. But that's what we need to hear. So, getting rich slowly feels wrong when your nervous system is still in panic mode. That's why people find it very difficult to practice instant gratification. All right, so the poor people are not lazy. They are neurologically overstimulated and emotionally exhausted, which is why I don't watch everything on social media. I don't, to be honest with you, I also don't listen to the news. Many years ago, I don't even remember when, I decided to stop buying newspapers. That's when newspapers were the thing here. There were no social media and things like that. So I tried it. I just said, because every day I will buy newspapers, not just one. I'll buy 2, 3 newspapers. And I'm like, wait a minute. When I saw newspapers piling up in my house, sometimes, I just read a few things and I don't touch them. But I just found that I was just buying, at some point, I was just buying for the sake of buying. But what exactly was the news doing for me? And then every page was negative news, bad news, negative news about economy, then negative news about, crime, how this person was murdered, how this person. And I'm like, at some point, I just woke up one day. Why am I feeling my brain with this kind of information? I decided, okay, let me go without newspapers for a week. And I didn't die. Let me go without newspapers for 1 month. I didn't die. Instead, I started saving money. I said, let me try it for 1 year. Since that time, it's probably close to 20 years. I've never used my money to buy a newspaper anywhere in the world. And so the same thing. I don't watch any news. I don't watch, because right now you go to TikTok, the feed is filled with World War III, World War III. Everybody's talking about World War III. Putin is going to strike. Oh, Russia went and struck and this. And then, Putin's reaction. Then the British Prime Minister is telling everybody, prepare for war. And they are, all that. What is that? You're overstimulating your brain. Because at some point I asked myself, what is this thing doing for me? Some of you wake up in the morning and turn on television. And then you're listening to CNN. Every 30 minutes, they are repeating the same thing. There's earthquake somewhere. and earthquake magnitude 8.0. Then at 8 a.m., they tell you 213 people died and all that. Then they flash all those things to your mind. Then 2:30, they say 8:30, they tell you, okay, by now the body count has reached 300. Let us see in another 1 hour whether they will be able to find up to 500 bodies. Then of course you wait, because sometimes they have a way they give you these hypnotic commands on television, and you don't even know it's hypnotic commands. They tell you, don't touch the dial, don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Do you know it's a subconscious command? Many of you don't know it. You just plan to, okay, I just want to hear the headlines, 5 minutes, and then I'll go. And then they tell you the headlines, and then after the 5 minutes, they say, don't go anywhere, we're coming up next. Is hypnotic. If you knew that, type I know or I knew that. It's hypnotic. And then they tell you, don't go anywhere. It's a command. It's a subconscious command. And then before you know it, you plan to watch for 5 minutes. Before you know it, you have spent 2 hours. And by the time you're leaving, your brain is so saturated, so traumatized, because that's what this news does to you. It traumatizes the brain that you should use to create wealth. Now the thing is in chaos, it's in panic mode. As you're leaving your house with your brain in panic mode, the only thing your brain wants is relief. So you enter the next fast food place, or before you know it, you get something alcoholic to drink. Before you know it, you're spending money, each of those things. So you're leaving your house with your brain already traumatized in panic mode. Then when you go out there, you find yourself uncontrollable spending. You just don't know why you are eating the way you are doing. You don't know why you're suddenly trying to take more soda, 3 bottles of soda. And then as you're taking soda, you see chocolate. Oh, as you're taking chocolate, you see ice cream. It's your money going. It's your future you're eating. Why? Because you've been traumatized before leaving. Must you listen to those news? All the things I need to know always come to me. So I keep my brain, I keep it sane. I keep it sane so that I can have high quality thinking. Instead of the news, I wake up and I spend time with scripture. And so I saturate my heart with scripture, with peace, with goodness, with love, with kindness, with joy. And I come out to face the world with joy, with kindness, with love, with a clear mind. Then I go jog. And then as I'm jogging, I'm listening to a podcast, I'm listening to something that's building my mind. If I do that 10 years, and then you watch news 10 years, you think we're going to be in the same place? No. We can't be in the same place. Okay, great. So, the poor people are neurologically overstimulated and then emotionally exhausted. So the brain wants relief. And the dilemma is that while your brain wants relief, wealth actually demands or requires deferral. It's a quiet superpower. In fact, I want to use that word religion with care, with a lot of caution. But if there is one religion common to wealthy people, it's called delayed gratification. It's called delayed gratification. That is a secret key that wealthy people have that the poor do not have. So your bank account isn't empty because of bad decisions. It's empty because your brain keeps spending to escape, not to succeed. So you see how our brains can easily sabotage us. We spend to escape, not to succeed. This is why I will recommend for you that when you have money, before you spend it, I need you to ask yourself, this thing I'm about spending, is it to escape or is it to succeed? Is it to escape or is it to succeed? You know, all the money you spent today, they fall into each of these categories. You either spend to escape or you spend to succeed. Most broke people aren't chasing success. They are chasing silence from their pain. They are chasing silence from their pain. And this is why I speak emotional and spiritual healing in my coaching. Because if you're bruised spiritually, it's going to affect the way you spend your money. Because I know I taught a class. I won't say where I taught that class, but it's a very high level class, very, very high level people. And I did a design thinking exercise for them. I led them through design thinking exercise, which is a method that I picked up from Stanford University when I worked with them. And it turned out that there's this single woman, very, very accomplished. And she was in her late 40s, like 47. The design thinking assignment was looking at creating the ideal shopping experience for people. And so I paid them up to do what we call empathy interview, which is what you start design thinking with. And it turned out from this woman that every time she closed from work in the high-rise Victoria Island, she went to the mall and stayed in the mall till she was just ready to go home and collapse in bed. So when you see her at the mall at 9 p.m., you'll be wondering what she's doing. She didn't go there to shop. She went there to escape. And then she will do whatever she wants to do there. When she now gets to the house, she collapses in bed. So many people are chasing silence from their pain. That's the point I made with the story I just told. And it's terrible when we are now using the money that we should be using to build our future. We are using it to silence our pain. We are spending to silence our pain. The other thing, which I find tragic for many of us between 40 and 65 who are still doing 9 to 5, is that the 9 to 5 system trains us to stay poor. The 9 to 5 system trains us to stay poor. And I'm not saying you should quit your 9 to 5 after listening to how I'm going to explain this. I'm just asking you to be aware, to just have it in your consciousness, because the awareness already gives you an edge, so that you're not going to flow downstream with the system designed for you, but you'll get a chance to say, oh, so this is actually what's going on. I have to do something about it. So the 9 to 5 doesn't just pay you a salary. It teaches you a mindset. That is a problem. It says, do what is required of you. They call it JD, job description. They call it job tasks. And get rewarded quickly. So it's a monthly dopamine trap. But wealth doesn't pay you monthly. Wealth pays those who can delay without quitting. But the salary thing is a drug. The salary is a drug. I haven't experienced drug before, but I see, is it fentanyl? What do you call this drug that's ravaging America and different parts of the world right now? Even here in Nigeria, I've seen people who, take it and then the thing totally mummifies them. Mummify, is there an English word like that? But Nigerians use that word, mumu. So it totally makes them like zombies. But do you know, this is a strong and bold statement, do you know that salary, yes, Rachel, it's called fentanyl. Okay, fentanyl. Okay, actually, Kwame says it's fentanyl. I think it's fentanyl. All right. So, whatever, you guys know what I'm talking about. Type in the comment section. Salary is more dangerous than fentanyl. Yes, Obo said so. And I'm going to tell you how. It's more dangerous than fentanyl. I had a lady. In fact, the first job that I got after I came out of school, I never went to that job. It was a teaching job. Do you know why? I was desperate because it was almost 2 years I graduated from the university, and I never had a job. So I was just looking for anything to survive. And at some point I told myself, all right, let me just get this job, and then I will work for 9 months. See my thought process. I will work for 9 months because I really didn't want the job, but I wanted to work so that I can save money and start a hustle. How many of you fell to that trap? So I got that job, that teaching job, to teach. I don't remember the subject. It was a long time ago. For those of you in Nigeria, you know Ibejuleki. It was a forest. Very, very far. And the roads, those roads you have in Lekki now, you didn't have them in those days. This was 19. I graduated in 1988, finished my youth service 89. So this was around 1990. So if you imagine what that place was. So I was going to live there in one forsaken corner of the earth, teaching biology or math or English. I don't even remember what they told me. So I got that job like on a Thursday, and they said I should start on Monday. So over the weekend, I now met a senior friend, someone who was like an elder brother to me. He was an architect. This guy listened to my story and how I was going to start work the next day. It was on a Saturday or a Friday. He took me to lunch. It's good to have very good people around you. And he listened to this story. He said, well, I'm not going to stop you, but if teaching is not what you want to do in your career, I think you should reconsider going to work. I still didn't listen to him. I still wasn't convinced. The next day, which was a Sunday, this woman came to my house. There's a particular woman. I was squatting with a big uncle in those days. So his friend, this lady, Kate, came to see him. And then while talking, he mentioned, because he himself was trying to convince me not to go take that teaching job, he mentioned to her that old boy is starting work tomorrow. He wants, what work? I said he wanted to go and teach, biology teacher at Ibejuleki. That woman shook her head and said, Obo, please don't go. I said, no, that all I want to do, it's not I'm going to do it forever. All I want to do is to teach for 9 months so that I can earn some money. And then from that money, I will save that money and start a side hustle. If you have fallen for that trap before, just type trap. So then she told me her story. She said, Obo, this is 12th year. I said the same thing. Every day I told myself that I will leave. When I started, I said exactly the same thing. I only wanted to teach. She was teaching in, I think it was command school or something at Ikeja in those days, 1990. She said that she told herself exactly the same thing. She said, I'm going to work for just 1 year and I will go do something. She said, oh boy, this is 12th year. I haven't left. Salary is more addictive than fentanyl. 12 years. And then the saddest thing about her case was that each time she always wanted to work with the United Nations. And then every year they invited her. She wanted to work with UNDP. She had this very strong desire to go there. But each time they went, and then they looked at her work history, teacher, it had no relationship to what they were looking for. So it was so painful. That was how Monday morning I took my clothes off and I didn't go. If I probably did and started with that salary when I was desperate in 1990, today you won't be listening to me. I'll be a teacher somewhere tying a wrapper with chewing stick in the village, shouting at, children, and then wearing my glasses like this, all those headmasters, and then looking at people. Of course, my gray hair and pot belly. And then my name will be, they'll be calling me biology teacher. All because of salary. Because I wouldn't have left. So salary, your brain trains you, or the 9 to 5 trains you to expect monthly comfort, not long-term abundance. Monthly comfort, which is what drugs does for you. As soon as the threshold comes down, you now take another one. You take another one, then you feel high. When the high is coming down, which is usually toward the end of the month, they inject you again with another salary. You feel high. First week, second week, of course, the thing disappears. Then it starts coming. And then they inject you again. And you've been living like that for 30 years. Is that normal? No, it's not. Okay, so this is why even high income earners, like I was when I worked with Shell, that's why high income earners feel broke. Okay? And they never escape the psychological dependency loop. Because that's what salary does to you. And then, those of you in salary, because I was there, you are so scared. The thought of leaving that thing to start a business or to do something or to pursue your passion, an idea that could set you free. You are terribly scared. You literally go through withdrawal. The thought of, because if I quit now, what happens to next month's rent? What happens is terrifying. So what happens? You submit your hands again for the chain. And before you know it, 10 years, 15 years, 20, 25 years of your life have gone, lived under fear instead of freedom. Okay, so salary is a drug, gratification is the addiction, and poverty is the side effect. If you can't delay a salary lifestyle, you will never unlock an ownership mindset. All right. Now, let me talk about the 4 lies that keep us in the get-rich-quick trap. When you identify it, it becomes very easy to help yourself get out of the get-rich-quick thing. Please stop. Just get out of it. And then help everybody anybody around you to get out of the get-rich-quick trap. So, let me share with you 4 lies. Number 1, people say, I'm too old to start slow. Have you ever said that to yourself? Some people say, I'm too old to start slow. Look I'm already 55. How can I start slow? Then they bring another get-rich-quick scheme. Another Ponzi scheme in time. 47-year-old woman, especially our sisters, 52. Okay, this new one. They say, because I know people who are in their 50s. Every time, I know this one. This one, this and that and that. And then at 50-something, because you're thinking, I'm already too old. So you put your money in it, and then you lose it, and then you dig deeper. You find yourself, slowed down, like 5 years behind. Okay? So time is still your ally, because what you need to make money is not time. It's leverage. It's leverage. I told you that. Time doesn't mean anything, especially if you are in your 40s and in 50s. What you need, one leverage, and the leverage can come in form of a relationship, networking, people you intentionally relate with. My relationships gave me leverage. It was a relationship that exposed me to the opportunity to work with Stanford University. Because that lady who showed me the advert was a top lady, and she was in a position to see it. I was not in any position to see it. With my normal routine, I would never have seen that advert. But she was, because she was in the university system, she saw it when it came out, and she sent it to me. Say, Bo, take a look at this. And then the rest was history. If I didn't have a relationship with her, it wouldn't have been possible. And I want to tell you, women are amazing. Men, of course, have been a great blessing to me, but I cannot explain it. And this is why I love women and I respect them. I deeply, deeply reverence women. Because I will say that over 90% of the opportunities I've had in life came through a woman. My mother, my wife, my only sister, and then many other women in my contact. And women are amazing. A woman just picked a phone and then made a phone call. In fact, she told her husband, because I was struggling at that time. After I left and things were not, I was struggling. So she invited me over to their place. So I went to their place in Ikoyi. She just whispered something to the husband. The husband made a phone call and connected me to the minister in Abuja of the Niger Delta something. One phone call. And then if you're in Nigeria, you know that these people are gods. You don't see them. You can't see them. A woman just tapped the husband on the shoulder. The man made a phone call, and then there was an appointment fixed for 10 a.m. the next day. I flew to Abuja to meet with the man. Many things like that women did for me when I was having some very difficult time. Several women independently. One woman came. She wrote in those days of checks. She wrote post-dated checks for 3 months and said, "Oh boy, I know it's very difficult for you and the family right now. Just whatever." She wrote 3 post-dated checks. As that one was going, independent of one another, another woman wrote me a check, post-dated checks for 6 months. Plus too many things. So I'm just saying, look, what you need is leverage, is not time. That's why in your 40s and 50s, focus on building relationships, because you might just be one relationship away from the contract, from the project that will blow your mind. And I don't know what it is about women, but women are wonderful. I think maybe that's why they are called helpmeet. And that's why I feel sad, when people maltreat women or their husbands maltreat their wives. You don't. They are sacred creatures and they can help you. Women are extremely influential. I can't even tell 1 or 2 times, that a woman has been a leverage to my opportunity. So don't say I'm too old to start, because what you need is not time. What you need is leverage relationships. And then you might be amazed that the kind of money you never earned in all 30 years of working, you can earn it in 1 year with leverage. And also knowledge is leverage, coaching is leverage. For those of you who haven't joined the Financial Fitness Challenge, which is my coaching event, you are missing out. Once I finish, I'm going to tell you how to join, how to pay and join. It's pittance. It's not that I need that money, but I discovered over years, 2 decades of doing this, that when people don't commit money, they don't take it serious. So I'm teaching you free for those of you who need to build money to join the challenge, but you really need to join the challenge. I'm going to give you the WhatsApp number that you are going to text to, and then we give you the payment details, and then you can join that. You can join. We are currently enrolling for this month. It's every single month, because it's not enough just hearing these things. I can guide you to actually implement it, because I walked that journey. Line number 2, people say fast money is smart money. But fast money is anxious. Smart money is slow, safe, and sustainable. So fast money is not necessarily smart money. Then the number 3, people say, that's the third lie, other people are doing it, I just haven't cracked the code yet. But the truth is that most of those people you think are making it are faking it for your likes. Do you have any idea how much fakery is going on social media? And some of you wake up and start envying life that is not even real. You see all those polished videos and polished pictures and things like that. Fake life. They are not making it anything. They are just doing it for your like. People lie. They lie on social media about how much money they are making and all that, and people follow. People lie. Okay? So it's not true that others are doing it. I just haven't cracked the code yet. A lot of people do it. Some people, especially my elderly people who are into crypto, people have been losing money. I'm somebody who has lost money for 3 years, 4 years consecutively in crypto. And the man said to me, I know people are making it. I just haven't cracked the code yet. It's a lie. You'll still be doing it in another 10 years, and then you still haven't cracked the code. So why don't you relax and get rich slow like we are doing? Number 4, the another lie is that slow means I'm losing. Says who? Who told you you're losing when you're slow? The power of seed is indescribable. When you actually sow seed, recently I told the people in the Financial Fitness Challenge group, I shared with them opportunities in penny stocks that at the time I shared it was like 2 naira 40, under 3 naira. But penny stocks, but because I've done my research and found that these stocks have some sound fundamentals, that it's unlikely. Now, don't get me wrong, every investment has its risk. It might not turn out like that, but you have to, if you're afraid of risks, you can't become wealthy. But I have seen stocks in Nigerian stock market go from 2 naira, go from 10 naira to 900 and something naira over the space of 5 years. Those things happen. So, so recently we invested in these penny stocks. It's slow. Some of them, by the time I finished buying, it went to like minus 5%. Minus. One of them has already done over 20%, but that's one out of 7 or 8 stocks. All the other ones minus 4. It's slow. So you wake up every day, no increase. Next month, no increase, nothing, and it looks slow. But all of a sudden, in 5 years, from nowhere, you just see this man who invested 10 million naira, and then from nowhere, he has 900 million. So slow money doesn't mean you are losing. There's a law of patience whenever it comes to wealth. Okay, so you are not behind, you are just detoxing from speed addiction. Because in the first half of our lives, many of us were addicted to speed. What are you rushing for? What are you rushing for? I remember as a younger parent, oh my goodness, sometimes it could be a lot of anxiety. The children's school fee, how in the world are we going to train these children through college? I had no regular income, things were bad, economy was poor. How in the world? You wake up every morning and then you get a letter from the school fee is due. And then landlords, whatever, because in Nigeria we pay for 1 year. I know in many of your countries you do monthly, but here is 1 year. And it could be terrifying when you're supposed to pay in August, and then school is August too. School fees you must pay by August, and then house rent, everything just gets due at the same time. It could be whatever you just wonder how in the world. But see, as a 59-year-old man, looking back to those days, because of course the children have all come out and they've started getting married, they've all come out of college. I'm grateful. And then I look back and I'm telling myself, how did it happen? And so sometimes, if I say, why did I have to even worry? If it was going to turn out this amazing. The children all turned out amazing. They finished college, went to the best college that they could have actually gone, had the best education across the world. How it happened, I did not know. So you are not behind when you want to get rich slow. You are just detoxing from speed addiction. Because it's like life by default forces us into this speed addiction. Get rich quick. But then by the time you start getting into your 40s, 50s, 60s, then you start detoxing from speed. And then you discover that wealth is not necessarily speed. It's wisdom, it's leverage, it's patience, and it is peace, and it is service. It is helping, it's solving problems. That's wealth. The richest people in the world move slowly because speed is for the desperate. Okay, so what are we going to do with all this? How are we going to detox ourselves, from all this speed of getting wealth, and launch ourselves into the wiser, more peaceful, noble way, and then certain way of getting rich slow? So I want to speak to the one who has tried all and then you feel ashamed. There's healing. You gave it your best, you acted because that's how you know, but you were just playing the wrong game. But from tonight, I want you to fall in love with slowness. I want you to fall in love with patience. That is the kind of patience, the kind of slow that it heals your brain. And then your brain can now detox from survival. It can now detox from instant gratification. It can now detox from seeking relief to building success. So it helps you now to repair your dignity, because I tell you, I messed up big time, because there was a time I dragged literally all my friends into MLM, and because they trusted me and because I'm a very influential person, they believed me. It was very shameful, very embarrassing. They believed me. Everybody now joined. I was upline and then they were downline. At the end of it, literally everybody lost money. It was so shameful. I regret it so much. But there is healing in slowness, and that's what I want you to get into tonight, so that you can start building a quiet fortune. People don't even need to know about it. That nobody can take from you when you finish building your quiet fortune. So today, even as a 59-year-old, I still practice delayed gratification. I need a car. I need a car to move around. And then 2-3 weeks ago, I had the money to buy a car. But do you know what? I just told myself, you know what? I can manage. I can enter public transport. I do. And then I dress like everybody else and I enter that public transport. Nobody knows. Nobody knows who I am. Because what I decided is that money that I would have used to buy a car, I invested it, and I can guarantee you that in 5 years, I can buy 5 cars from that same money. Quiet fortune, slowly, quietly, and nobody knows. Okay, so you can still be free, not through fast success, but slow, sacred, sane success. So some of you might be thinking already now, oh, how do I execute? How do I implement all this wisdom that I've heard tonight? That is what the Financial Fitness Challenge is. Every month, I hold a cohort, mentoring and guiding people, especially people between 35 and 65. Even though in the current cohort, we have a woman who is 76 years. She says she's going to be 77 in November. So we have people from all over the place. People who said, oh boy, I don't want to make more mistakes. And I don't have the time to start learning by trial and error, trying to figure it by myself. So I want you to handhold me. I'm telling you the incredible results people are getting in the financial fitness, because you can imagine what I'm giving you for free. And then you can imagine having me mentor you, coach you for a month. That's amazing. So you pay once, and then you belong to that group for as long as you want to. How do you become a part of my mentorship group? It is paid for. It is 125,000 Nigerian naira. But if you join immediately after this, and I'm going to tell you how to join, you will have access to the early bird fee, which is just 105. That is 20,000 whopping naira off for Nigerian naira. In dollars, you don't have naira and you want to pay in dollars, it is $125 to sit under me, to use the resources and the worksheets to guide you to create a system to make wealth. Because at 50, you don't want to be random about making wealth. You need a system to generate income, to invest, to multiply the income, to build your legacy. I started discussing with an estate firm today. I've told them that I'm going to bring them into the group to talk to us, because many of us are in our 50s and 60s and 40s. Even if you're in your 30s, you should start talking about your will. You should start talking about your estate. You should start talking. And it is a powerful thing, because once you start talking about building your estate, you will know that you are going to go on asset acquisition spree, because you want to leave something for the following generations. And I was speaking to them, and I said, no, the sort of estate I have is not when I die, we just distribute it and then it goes. No, I want something. I want to design it in such a way that it will still be paying 20 years, 100 years from now. So that's the conversation I'm having with them. So that's the kind of conversations that we are having in the Financial Fitness Challenge group. And I don't know why anybody should miss that. All right, so if you want to take advantage of the early bird fee, which is $105 or 105,000 Nigerian naira, and I will also send you, for those of you in different countries, I will send you a link that will allow you to pay in your local currency in Africa. So send me early bird payment details. Don't ask anything else, and then don't call that WhatsApp group. You can only text to it. You can't call it. It's mine, and I see it. Send me early payment details. That's what you send to +234 8088 000 111. Very easy to memorize. +234 8088 000 111. Send it to me right now. I'll stand by for another couple of minutes so that I can attend to people, who want to take advantage of the early bird right now. And then you can get it, and you can actually join right now, like in the next couple of minutes. You will have the instruction on how to pay. And then after payment, you will receive instruction on how to join the group. How has it been tonight? Did you get value? Did you get some aha moments? Did you just have your mind shifted? That's amazing. All right, so let me read a few comments and we can draw the curtain tonight. Majamun says, I love the laugh. Right. Okay, yeah. Imole NBA says, what you need to make money is not time, but leverage. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. And Augustine says, thank you, coach, for a wonderful session today. That's a very good place to say good night. God bless you. Whatever happens, don't be discouraged. You will still become wealthy. I assure you, billionaires are going to come out of these sessions. And whatever happens, keep showing up, because you never know what's coming your way next. And I'll see you same time, 8 p.m. GMT +1 tomorrow. God bless you.